Finding empowerment, embracing layers, yeah. We get to.
Hello, Melissa Crook here, and Field Podcast host. Glad to be here with you for another one-on-one empowerment time with me today. We're going to talk about the core messaging today of the framework and of some phrasing and terms you've heard me use a lot lately, especially as I've really continued to formulate those things that I can really talk to people easily as an invitation into what this framework can mean for them, what it's meant to me. So I wanted to give you a little more background on that today. Lately, you've heard me say a lot, and sometimes I end episodes with "You are worthy, you are valuable, and you get to choose." Last week, I talked about my 3 pillars that really help guide, inform me, and bring me back to the framework that I take a look at as I'm looking at different opportunities, as I'm sharing the message with people. So I wanted to give you a little background on how I landed there, and maybe how you can land on 3 key principles or guiding points that you can turn to help you bring you back to home, bring you back to the framework, remind you of what it is that guides you, what your values are, what helps you decide the trajectory you're going to go in different areas of your life. And so we're going to get into that today. Hopefully you find this helpful and supported. And again, as always, if you need more work or time on this, the links are in our show notes and on the resources page on our website of how you can work with me directly on this via one-on-one empowerment sessions, my online course, or me coming and speaking to your group via keynote, workshop, whatever it is that works for you. And I do those virtually and in person. So we can find all kinds of ways. We also got our book. So there's all kinds of ways we can support you in this, but hopefully this gives you the boost you need and reminds you of how you can do this for yourself, and you can share this with those in your circle as well. So for this core messaging, for this framework, things that really guide me, and thank you to my friend Drea Ginto, who really helped me with this, because she really helped me hone in and really break down the things I cared about to make it into something that was really easy to share and in alignment with me. So it starts with a big idea or a core narrative. What cultural tension or problem am I trying to solve? And this is a question you can ask yourself in your businesses, in volunteer work that you do that's really intentional in the community, in your faith spaces, even in your home as you're coming together, trying to figure out how to manage things best in your home. If you've got a busy environment with a lot of people going in a lot of different directions there's so many ways you can do this. We're such a reactive society, but we need to be a more responsive society. I see so many times we're reacting after the fact instead of getting upstream and getting places and things in place now, that when that thing happens, we're responding to it, not reacting to it and trying to figure it out on the fly. So going to a root versus band-aiding systems is really an important part of this. The power of the pause, taking a moment. We're in such a hurry all the time. That's why this quiet time and journaling time and reflection time without our devices is such an important time to take that power of the pause. Think about what lands, what's coming to mind for you, what's coming up, bubbling up for you. When we do our own work, and we do these things, we ask ourselves these questions, we create these narratives and values and principles for us to live by, it ripples out on how we engage with the world. If we would just take the time to do our own work, and this is going to sound simplistic to you, but I honestly believe this, and this comes as a reflection of my own journey. But I really believe if we would take the time to do our own work, know our own value, and operate from a stable foundation based in who we are, not what we do. Knowing our value is not based on how many things we've accomplished, but that we exist in the world. It would solve 99% of the problems that come up in how we interact and respond and react to problems and challenges and conflicts and relationships we're in the world. I really believe that. And you can tell when you interact with people by their reactions whether they have done the work or not. We see so many knee-jerk defensive reactions. So many times people feel threatened, and so they respond accordingly to try to ascertain some sort of pretend power over the situation rather than stopping again the pause and really thinking about, why is this making me feel so reactive? Why am I so defensive? Is there a real reason for that here? Or is that a reflection of work I need to do on myself? Um, this can be a last ditch effort to try to retain a false sense of power. Um, we see this a lot in our workplaces. We see this a lot as women challenge and become more confident and stronger in some spaces. There are some people that are really threatened by that. They don't want the old power dynamic to change. They like the way things are because it's serving them. They may not even realize it. That's the other thing too. It's just the way it's always been done. And so if we all step back and do that work on ourselves, we eliminate a lot of these issues that come up in a very reactive, many times, most of the time, especially in these power dynamics we're talking about, can be that are really damaging and actually cause more problems than they might solve something temporarily, but long term they can create more problems so many times when we react this way. When we rewrite, um, we don't need to rewrite anything. Rewrite how we evaluate our own time, energy, and investing it back to self. And then when we do that, we're ready and willing and happy to support others in that as well because we've done our own work first. So, remembering so many times, I think too, when we feel, well, this is just the way it is, this is just the way I am, we don't stop to think, is it, or is that something I've learned that I can unlearn? Is this actually something I inherited genetically, or is this just something that's been passed down so much that it's been taught that way and communicated that way? So getting back to remembering that we have choice. Sometimes things happen to us and we don't have a choice about that, but we can choose how to respond to it, what kind of decisions to make out of it that are going to be healthy and helpful for us and for those around us. So, remembering these things. And so, asking myself these questions and working with my friend Drea Ginto on this really helped me to come up with just these 3 core messaging pillars that you've heard me talk about. You're worth all of it. You're valuable because of who you are, not what you do. And you get to choose. And this really is like, oh, it kind of, when I say this, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. I do get to choose. But what does that really mean? You're worth all of it. You're worthy of rest, joy, healthy boundaries, softness, ambition, and being seen, known, and heard without needing to earn it. The core emotion here is we start believing that we're deserving of good things, that we're deserving of valuing ourselves, that we're worth all of it, that we're worthy, not because of what we did, but because of who we are and that we're here. And then that goes nicely into you're valuable because of who you are, not what you do. Your being holds more power than your doing. Productivity doesn't define your worth. Presence does. That core emotion is belonging. I belong here. I belong in this space. I belong in this force, in these relationships, in this opportunity, in this life. And that you get to choose. Every moment invites you to choose alignment over approval, wholeness over performance, and truth over expectation. The core emotion here is empowerment. We feel empowered. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that happened, but I get to choose X, Y, and Z and how I move forward from this and how I respond to this. And this can be such a key thing to remember when something really hard happens and really painful and really difficult. You can remind yourself that there's still choice for you. And then this invites some language shifts. So you can talk about, self-care can also thought about as self-fulfillment, self-choice. Instead of hustle, we're thinking about harmony and wholeness. And within balance, we're thinking about where do healthy boundaries come in here to help me find that harmony, that balance. Instead of productivity, we're really thinking about presence. What is my presence emulating today? Is my presence showing that I'm intentional about being here, that I'm paying attention, that I'm fully in the moment, that I'm not distracted and worried about the next thing I'm trying to get done on the to-do list? Instead of fixing ourselves, we don't see ourselves as a problem or an obstacle to fix. We see the power of feeling ourselves, feeling the emotions, not seeing emotions as positive or negative, but seeing them as clues, as opportunities. Some may be more difficult than others, some may be more joyful than others, but they're opportunities, they're clues, or invitations to feel so that you can address and acknowledge what it is that needs to be tended to, that you're not stuffing or ignoring or feeling shame or embarrassment or, things that you're really inviting yourself into it and allowing that to happen. You're being tender and patient and empathetic with yourself. And instead of feeling like you have to prove your worth, you're honoring your worth. You're knowing your worth. Like I talked about last week, you're living like the VIP that you are. And this really helps us, especially as women, but all of us, it helps us to stop overperforming and start feeling our way back to freedom, alignment, and self-worth. And so I really wanted to share that with you today. I wanted to give you this opportunity to have an insight on how I got here and why I feel like it's so important. Again, big shout out to Drea Ginto. Her link will be in the show notes on how you can work with her as well. If this really got your attention, like, oh, I could use somebody to help me guide me in this. But now that I have this, I want to help you with it as well. So if this is something that you want to start really embodying in your life, let's get together. Let's have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if there's other tools in my toolbox here that can help you really embody this. Or maybe this is what you needed today and you just needed that reminder. Whatever that is, those resources and links are in the show notes and on our resources page at embracinglayers.com. I want to thank you so much for being with me today. And I want you to remember this last thing. For the FEEL framework, for me, this is what it really comes down to. The FEEL framework is a radical reimagining of self-leadership for women who are tired of performing, perfecting, and pleasing. Instead of chasing external measures of success, it guides you to live from your fullest expression, grounded in your values, fueled by self-trust, and embodied through everyday choices. This makes this framework not just about wellness, but about agency, identity, and cultural power. So I hope this gave you, again, some helpful insights, some things to remember. If you need additional resources, go to embracinglayers.com. Let's get together. Let's have a 30-minute free time together and just talk about how this can support you, or share this episode with other women. If this was what you needed today to awaken you to this, I'm glad I could be that for you. And just remember, we have a ton of resources to support you if you need further support. Thank you so much for being with me today. Remember, you are worthy, you are valuable, and you get to choose. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time here on the FEEL podcast.